So in our last video, in our last lecture, we explained the difference between a VO, a VOSOT, and a package. So far you've written a VO and a VOSOT. Now I would like you to have the experience to write and edit a package. So first what I'd like to do is give you a step-by-step explanation of how I would like you to go about writing the packages and then editing them. So the first thing that I would want to remind you that as a reporter you would set up your interviews for a news story. You would go out, do the interviews. After the interviews you would remember to shoot B-roll that would go along with the story that you're trying to tell. What I have set up in this lecture is an example of how you can do that. The example pertains to a story that was done a while ago about an energy conservation program. All the interviews and all of the B-roll was already shot ahead of time, so I want to give you an idea of using this material, how you would start your process. Of course, the first thing you want to do after you finish shooting, put your memory card in your computer and save all your files to the hard drive. Then you can import all of them into your system, and then it's time to begin the logging procedure. You're going to watch the entire interview.
I jumped on it. I was excited. I was happy.
And you see this going on
Yes.
here. And while she's being interviewed, you start writing down the logging notes of what she says and highlighting which parts of it you think will be good. So you listen through the entirety of one interview.
The company who I'm buying the house from.
When you're done listening to that and logging that one, you would go and log your next interview, which would be this gentleman here. And you start that rolling. You listen to the whole thing.
If you hold that for a second.
And as you listen to it,
All right. Yeah, we'll do it as
you go back to your
So, what do you hope happens out of this program?
your note page,
What's your big goal?
and you start writing down the things that he's saying. And once you've written down several of them, then you highlight in yellow the ones that you think you might be able to use for your story. The last thing you do before starting to write is to go from video clip to video clip and take a look and decide what you think you might be able to use in this. So I see here the very first video clip we have is, we can look at the whole thing here. And you would want to log the video clips that you see as well. So in this case, I'm logging two men closing the trunk and walking toward the house. That would be a video clip there. Then this next video clip would be workers looking over fence. And then I would put those type of notes here in my logging notes. They would say medium shot, here's nat sound, tight shot, good explainer, installs new faucet and sink, showing her outside stuff, putting on shower head. These are all logging notes for the video that you might want to use later on. So you will go through each piece of your video and you will log a note about what's happening in that piece of video. Here's another one. This would be men meeting homeowner at door. And the other thing that you want to do while you're looking for that is to see if you can capture any natural sound. See if we can hear anything.
Spray function, it swivels. I'll show you that in a second.
So something like that where you can hear him say spray function, that swivels. That's something that you could use up full if it's understandable and it works along with your story. So after you've gone through all of the clips that are available to you and you have logged all of them, you determine which one of these sound bites you want to use, which natural sound you want to use, and then it's time to take these sound bites and turn them into your script. So first you log, then you write. What we've done is taken all of the sound bites that we liked and we put them in here. So here is one of her sound bites that we liked. Here is one of the guys' sound bites that we liked. So we put all those in there, and here's another sound bite of hers that we liked. Her name was Fisher. So we took from our logging notes these things, and we remembered also that there was good natural sound of the truck, so we want to use that as well. So we stick that in there and think that might be a good place to start. So the first thing that you need to do is write your live anchor intro. A new free program is being offered for low-income homeowners, a game plan on how to lower their waste and energy costs. News Center's Kathy Schafran has the story. This will be read by the anchor person live on TV. You don't have to worry about it at all. You indicate that there's going to be a package, take package. At the end, you will write in the total time in the out cue. You know already that you have a locator super, a Flint. You know this woman, Nina Fisher, is going to be speaking. She's the Flint homeowner. And you know that the gentleman, also Guillermo Diaz, will be speaking, and he works with Consumers Helping Neighbor program. Once that's all written, then you need to focus on what the package is actually going to sound like. So first thing is imagine you don't see anything on the left yet, and you start writing. You want to start with a natural sound of the truck, and then you write a sentence for Kathy to say. A helping neighbor's crew deployed by Consumers Energy arrived at her house, and then a little bit of Nats with a guy saying, I have some basic items here. And then Kathy comes back and continues speaking. So everywhere where Kathy is speaking, that's me, you're going to need to have some video that's going to cover each sentence. So after you've written the sentences, you say, a helping neighbor's crew deployed by Consumers Energy arrived at the Rankin Street home of Nina Fisher in Flint. So the video that you're going to put on the left that you're going to want to cover with is the crew when it gets out of the truck and it walks toward the home. And then you're going to have video of the two guys meeting the homeowner, the home of Nina Fisher. And then you're going to have the workers going to the sink when they're talking about the war on water costs. And then you notice on the left it says the Nats of the guy at the sink and what he's going to say. That would go here. And then Kathy speaks again. Fisher, a single mother of two, says she's been watching her water and energy bills rise. So after you've written the sentences, then you figure out which video you want to go with it. So let's say we've constructed this whole package with Kathy speaking and then a soundbite with the homeowner and Kathy speaking again and some natural sound and Kathy speaking again and a gentleman with the program speaking, Kathy another sentence for her. Okay, so we go through and work on this whole right-hand side and then put notes about what we want to fill on the left-hand side. And then it's time to move into the editing procedure. So when you're ready to start the editing process, the first thing that you want to do when you're doing a report or package is record your own soundtrack. So that means what you need to do is record the words that you have set up for yourself to read. So remember, every time I see my name Kathy, that's the part that the reporter's reading. You'll put obviously your own name here. So every time you see your own name, the sentence after your name is the part that you want to record. You don't need to record this part. Then I would record this part where I see my name, and I would go through the whole script. So how do you get your voice down on the Adobe Premiere track? I will go over this with you. I know that we covered it in a couple videos ago, but just to remind you, when you want to record your own voice, you go to Window, then you go to Audio Track Mixer, and when you do that, you'll see that this mixing panel has come up here. Let's say we want to record into audio number 3, so you see these 3 letters here, MSR. You want to click on the R because you're going to be recording into this audio mixer number 3, and for the time being you can go ahead and mute numbers 1 and 2 just in case there was something on those lines that you didn't want to hear as you were recording. Remember, when you listen back, you want to unmute everything. Okay, so I have it set up to record on audio line number 3. I hit the record button here and then the play button, and then it's time for me to record what's written here. A helping neighbor's crew deployed by Consumers Energy arrived at the Rankin Street home of Nina Fisher in Flint, armed with what they call some of the simplest weapons in the war against high energy and water costs. Okay, let's say that I've read through all of the portions that I want to record. So I click the record button again. That will stop the recording. And then we should see here. Now assume that I've gone and recorded my voice and that everywhere you see this line in audio 2 is where my voice is going to be. And if we take a look back at the script really quick, it says we want to start out with a natural sound of the truck. Okay? Okay, so if we say we want to start out where the truck slams its gate, so we can grab that video, bring it in here, and now watch on the right. A helping neighbor's crew deployed by Consumers Energy arrived at the Rankin Street home of... Okay, so now we actually have video covering the words because we picked that out. And then we said the next shot that we wanted was when they meet the woman at her front door. We find when they arrive at the home of Nina Fisher in Flint. That's the video that we said on our script that we wanted. Let's take a look back at that very quick. It said here, 2 guys meet homeowner, and that covers the part where we said arrived at the Rankin Street home of Nina Fisher in Flint. So if we go back, we now see that we've covered this portion. Arrived at the Rankin Street home of Nina Fisher in Flint, armed with the tools of the trade they call some of the simplest weapons in the war on high energy and water costs. So again, you'll need one more shot perhaps to cover the rest of this. So we'll find a shot where they're going in with the tools of their trade, perhaps when they're walking into her kitchen. So what we have now is all that space that was black covered. A helping neighbor's crew deployed by Consumers Energy arrived at the Rankin Street home of Nina Fisher in Flint, armed with the tools of the trade they call some of the simplest weapons in the war on high energy and water costs.
The kids have some basic items here.
Hopefully now you understand why it is that you're being asked to write a script on the right-hand side with video directions on the left-hand side, because the entire narration part needs to be covered by video. So now that you have the understanding of how to look at your video, log it, write it, and then edit it, it's time to get ready for your next assignment. So the next assignment, if you go on Moodle, you'll see now that you've watched this video, you will write a reporter package. What are you going to write it from? You're going to write it from some raw material that I've posted here. The raw material is an act that some of the students in a previous class did, acting out a news story. You'll notice there will be 3 people interviewed on here. There will be a reporter doing a stand-up, and there will be video taken of this alleged news story. So you'll watch this raw video, and from that you will log it, you will post your logging notes, and also your script here. You post assignment number 8, your written script in a 2-column format here. Just writing it for this week. Next week you'll actually edit. Okay? Once you're done with this assignment, you have one more to go. That's assignment number 9. I don't have a video for it, but basically you're going to pitch me an idea for a reporter package that you're going to start working on next week. So no video there. Go ahead and start reading assignment number 9 as you're finishing up assignment number 8.